Good afternoon, Adita. How are you today?
Hello, Deborah. I'm very well. Thank you. What about you?
Good, good. Great to see you on this Monday morning and afternoon.
Yes, nice to see you too.
So, for those tuning in for the first time, I'm Debbie, and this is Adita, and we are both certified Maxwell team members. We're speaking. We give keynote speeches, coaching, training, and other things as well. But we're here to talk to you today about another chapter from the Leader Shift book. This one is chapter 9, Team Uniformity 2, Team Diversity, the Improvement Shift. And generally, this chapter is about how people will move from just having team uniformity, because that is important, that you bring the right people in on the bus. The second thing is to get a diversified viewpoint and perspective. So bringing people in that you might be uncomfortable with, but have totally different viewpoints, even worldviews on things. Because when you bring those perspectives together, you grow because you're not all the same. But we're going to talk about how sometimes leaders are afraid to bring people in. There's barriers to diversity in their own mind. And then how you can actually overcome those barriers and move towards diversity, because you're definitely going to see improvement when you do things like that. It's hard. It's not easy. Anytime you try something new, it's going to take energy. But in the end, it's definitely worth it. So I just want to say, a few things. Like, all of our differences, when we bring them together, it will make a positive difference, because everyone brings something to the table. Everyone has something of value to share. I know not all people believe that. Some people have said to me in the past, that person is worthless. I will tell you, I've never believed that anyone is worthless. If they are on this earth, they're here for a reason, and they're made to bring value to something. So every person has a value, has something to bring to the table, and they are definitely not worthless. So that's a very narrow perspective. People that think like that just have a narrow perspective on life. When you start broadening your perspective, then you're going to really see some results. So most people are in the bubble. It's hard to get out of the bubble because that's your comfort zone. But there's people that can teach you things even when you don't realize, and they may not be in your circle. Like John Maxwell talked about how a very poor woman taught him about generosity, because even though she had just a small amount, she hardly had anything, she was still very generous with other people. Another person talked about how to really be a shepherd rather than just a rancher. And, what he was saying there is that you have to equip people. I mean, you really have to equip people to do their job. You can't just say, go off and run and do this. Not everyone knows how to do it, and they don't all know the steps. So there's a lot of things. And what you start learning is when you're looking at other people and seeing what value they're bringing, what you can learn from them, because everyone can teach you something, even if they're not doing it on purpose, that you'll start challenging your own assumptions. Everybody makes assumptions, and then you'll change your way of thinking, and you're going to learn other ways of doing things that are much better than, what you're thinking, because there's so many different ways of doing things. And if you're only going by what you think, then it's hard to grow. So you really need all those, and it's going to make you a better person also. So I know we were talking about challenges, or barriers to diversity. I know you have one to talk about, Adita. Sometimes leaders don't want diversity, and there's reasons why. And so what do you have to say about that, Adita? What was the one reason that you wanted to talk about?
I mean, the first thing I would like to say, this is in the book, and this is like at the beginning of the book, is saying a good leader will ask the questions themselves. What do I not know? What do I need to learn? What I need to know about something? Because the good leaders, we're talking here about the good leaders, right? Because there's lots of people out there, and I'm sorry to say that, but they feel they are good leaders, but many times they don't follow the good leaders style, if I may say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to know, if you ask yourself, what do I don't know what should I learn, because there is always something that we should learn. That's something for me that stood out with me and is very important. But also what I want to talk about is about a little bit about conflict, but I want to say this from my own perspective. So I was raised and born in Poland, and in Poland we have only Polish people, and all people are white. I never seen in Poland, once in my lifetime I've seen in Poland person with dark skin, once. My approach to that person was straight away, they don't speak Polish, they must speak English. And the person said, why do you think I speak English? I said, because, you're different. It's only because I never seen anybody else. And we have these perspectives in Poland that, it's just completely different than when I moved to England, put it that way. And when I came to England, I quite often will ask people, where are you from? Are you born in this country? Because there's so many people here. Some people speak good English, some people speak bad English, but you cannot know looking at them if they were born here or if they came here for a job, if they came here for holidays. So I always ask the questions. And some people finding this, I just want to be curious. And for me, this is a curiosity. Like, who are you? Who made you you? What happened to you? Like, what was your journey? But I noticed that in England, people find this quite often too much, that I am too open to people. And I think that's what it is. They're afraid of any conflicts, just in case the conflict will come up. And many times I ask, because I just ask simple questions. So I can ask, how old are you, for example, where you were born, or are you from England, are you not from England? And lots of people will find this not the right questions. But I feel, for me, I'm from Poland. I have nothing against anybody. We have the culture, so we have different styles in our culture. And I think that's what is different. And that's what you said. To have this in a team, if you have different styles, different way of working, people work, we can create something amazing. But I think people are a little bit scared because they don't know what. I don't know how it's in America, but that's what I noticed in England. They don't know how this would be taken by other person, if that makes sense. And
Yeah, and that is, go ahead. I was going to say that is one of the barriers to diversity is the fear of conflict. What you're saying,
exactly, and that's how people say. I think we have to ask ourselves what is so fearful about having a conflict, because conflict is good. Because conflict is very good, because then if you discuss this in the right way, if you discuss this with your team, every conflict, you can come up with the new ideas, you can come up with the new resources. It's the same if you are older in the team, you have your own ways, and many times people have their own ways. They don't realize that this way can be changed a little bit by the younger person, but actually can improve the workplace. And that's why it's important to have not only different skin colors, different ethnicity, but also the different ages can make the difference, because many times the young people would not be understood by the older people, or all the way around. But actually, if they communicate together, even if they have a conflict and they will discuss the conflict, I think they can come up with pretty amazing results. So I said it, my perspectives here. I said it what I said, being 17 years in England, what I discovered. Like, lots of people are also not scared, but they step away about people like me who are very confident. I'm very confident. And I will tell you what I feel, what I think, and I will respect your opinion, but please answer what I have to say. And people are actually feel that this is too much, but actually it's not, because I can have a great idea and can improve the works or improve the systems. But people are scared of that. People are scared that, oh, maybe she will gonna bring the conflict, for example. So that's my perspectives. But maybe, we all changing, and probably I will improve for better. But that's my perspective. People just scared to what other person will do.
Yeah. And that is, yeah, like we were saying, that is one of the barriers. because it's different. And sometimes people are afraid of different because it gets them out of their comfort zone. And if they take that step, one of the things a leader can do to shift from diversity to inclusion, meaning like not even just bringing diverse people in, but actually making them feel included, is create a culture of sharing. And that's really important too. Like share, create an environment where people feel safe to share their ideas, their perspectives, even their failures, so that others can learn from it. And then they can come together as a team to figure out how to fix it. And then it's okay to make a mistake because you're going to be supported to move forward. So creating a culture of sharing was one big thing about how you make that shift from not just diversity, but inclusion. Another thing is just, you have to lead the effort. You've got to take the initiative to show other people like how it's done if you're in that role. And then allow someone else to lead, like give them an opportunity to lead and see how they do, because that's all about succession planning too. And then other people will feel like, hey, if they can do it, I can do it, instead of having that gap between where you are as a leader and then the other people. It closes that gap and brings people together in more of a unified environment rather than little silos. And you're going to see that in the workplace. You're going to see it in families. You're going to see it everywhere. But you can take that step to make sure that there's inclusion and people are valued. So these are some of the things that you can think about. But some of it's just a little bit of it can be arrogant sometimes, thinking that we know everything. But there's other people that have good ideas too. So that's pretty much what this whole chapter is about. And the challenge we have for you is to really look at your own teams, or even look in your families, or look around your friendships. Who do you have surrounding you? Who are the 5 people that you hang out with the most? Like, who do you have surrounding you? And are your teams all the same? Like sometimes, people start a new job and they want to bring their own people in, right? And that's fine if you want to do that, but it's also limiting your ability to get out of your comfort zone and think of different things. So to bring people in that are opposite of you, to bring people in that have different perspectives is a good thing, but it's hard. It's not going to be easy, but the outcome at the end is so much bigger, broader, and you can reach so many more people and expand and improve. And that's why this is called the improvement shift. Are you willing to take that shift and not only bring other people in that are different, but actually make them feel included and use what they have to bring to the table? So that's our challenge.
And don't be afraid, because I think what it is, people feel insecure. People also feel insecure. Don't be insecure when you're going to meet person like myself on your journey, on your way, on your path. Because people feel she is too confident, for example. I'm coming to me again, but that's sometimes what it is, because they're insecure with themselves. For me, this chapter is all about my experience, and especially in England. So I think people feel insecure about lots of things. And I think that's very important to look at it. If actually this happened to you, are you insecure? And that's why you can't get along in your team, or you can't get the best work possible, the best outcome of your team together. So I feel also that in being insecure, it can affect us, and we cannot even know about it. We cannot even sometimes realize about that. Actually, it's not about them, it's about me, because it's me who feel insecure, and it's me who feel scared because of overall of your life experiences sometimes.
Everyone, it is another barrier to the improvement shift, is the personal insecurity. And I want you to, to all of you to know out there, everybody has them. I don't care how they show up in the forefront. Everybody has personal insecurities. There's nobody that's void of it, because no one's perfect. So just keep that in mind too. So when you start looking at your teams, or your groups, think about what's the one small thing that you can do to try and bring diversity in and make them feel included this week. And that's our challenge for the week. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Any closing thoughts, Adita, before we?
No, I think we're done here. So thank you for watching again, and see you next week.
All right. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.